I am like literally going nuts right now. Shut up. Shut up. Jesus Christ. I'm actually getting angry. After the 2.1 anniversary announcement on March 16th, I thought that if I was ever going to join HSR, now would be the time. So the very next day, on March 17th, I downloaded and installed Honkai Star Rail. So it has been a month since then at the time of recording this video, and with 15 days logged in and a total of 24 gameplay hours, I cleared the main story all the way to 2.1, and what do I think? Fucking shit! This game fucking sucks. Yeah, it's complicated. It started off well. I went on stream as I usually do, in my PJs after a shower and with a glass of homemade Japanese plum wine. Now I'm a newbie, but not an idiot, so I re-rolled to get Sparkle, and I had Dr. Ratio waiting for me in my inbox. Hashtag Genshin Minarayo. So I got my first characters, drooled over Himiko a little, and then started on with the story asking my chat the noobiest of questions. If I use a skill on him, it should get more damage. Got my ass kicked by the first elite enemy I came across, and after that I got a little wary about any enemy I came across, which is a little funny in retrospect. Not that it helped at all, because I got my ass handed to me by the first big boss too. I guess I should have leveled my characters, given them relics and light cones too. Yeah, that might have helped. So I beat the boss, and I was legitimately interested and trying to follow along with the story. Now before I go to the next area, here's what I think about the characters so far. Boring, bubbly, badass, boobs, mid, money, mean, mommy. So with that out of the way and breaking the game somehow, I just bugged the game. I bugged it. I can't do anything. I continued on with the story and onto Billabog. Exploring the world of Billabog was pretty cool. I enjoyed the cold, wintry, industrial vibe and the contrast between the two sides, like the upper class and lower class too. The puzzles were a little basic and I didn't have to think much about solving them, but I was just doing them for the jades, so that was fine by me. The story was simple enough, so I sped through that, skimming the dialogue just enough to follow on with what was going on, which sometimes led to funny moments. I thought it said something completely different. But when it came to the lead up to the final battle with Cocolia, I slowed that down and took in everything. There was a great epic-sized mech and awesome music to keep me hyped. I had a lot of fun giving Cocolia a good fisting.
Hey, phrase it!
Especially in her upgraded form. I want to get lost in that abyss, you know? I particularly like the reference to my favorite game of all time, Final Fantasy VIII. Now for my quick and dirty impressions of the Billabog characters. Prick, perky, persistent, pure, pew 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 pew, Pilates Sakajuya, protect, potential copyright issues? I don't know, I'm just running out of P words now. These two are clearly inspired by Ilya and Berserker from the Fate series. And speaking of Fate, I legit thought that Gepard looked like Arthur Pendragon from his artwork. Serval looks like a grown-up Marin Kitagawa from My Dress-Up Darling. And as for Bronya, I think she's cool and all, but I think she'd be better if she was taller, older, maybe had blonde hair, bigger boobs, and eyes that look at me as if they were looking down at a worm. And after Billabog, we move on to the second world, Zhanzhou Luofu. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. This world had more interesting puzzles compared to Billabog, but still nothing really particularly challenging. And while the world was larger and more intricate, it didn't seem as interesting to me, especially when we were following Dan Hung around. At least until he turned into his Imbibda Lune form, then he was a total badass. My main problem was that there was a lot of terms, words, phrases, names being thrown around like we were already supposed to know what they were talking about. So say what you will, I'm here to witness the definition of the matrix of prescience. Just speak f***ing English. Well, all that it did was make my eyes glaze over more than a Krispy Kreme donut. But I actually enjoyed the main quest for the most part, especially anytime Kafka was on screen being a sexy badass. I particularly enjoyed the enemy designs too, like this cool deer, and Dan Shu, both pre and post transformation. Tasty. But especially Fantilia. I love when she showed herself through Ting Yung. Oh, I like this version of her. The way she's like moving there, the way she's talking. Oh, this is so much better. Oh, yes. Bruh. She dead? Dead. But even more so in her true form, for obvious reasons. And while I'm talking about my opinion on the characters, creepy coffin carrier, cock girl, pyromanic PG-13 pre-OnlyFans Amaranth, Dorothy from the Big O. You look tired, you should take a nap. In my bed. Scooby-Doo mixed with Luigi's Haunted Mansion. Wait, why is my screen blank? There's nothing here. Next, obvious furry bait. I will never ever be a furry, so I'm not interested. Okay, scratch that. I am totally interested.
Thanks, fuckse mama.
RN Jinque, Immortal Pipsqueak. Wish he was as strong to play as he is to fight. Do I have to say it? Mid. I see Gilf. I don't care that she's over 1,700 years old. Just means she's got experience. Okay, so this is where my descent into madness truly began. It started off well. I opened my eyes and Akarin is looking down at me with her pointy chin. Wait, MC has a pointy chin too. One true pairing confirmed? But seriously, the new mechanic in this region was really interesting with the Inception-like bending of reality and gravity and changing in perspective. It felt really, really interesting and very fresh to me. The thing that I enjoyed the most was this twisting of reality to further the story too. And at this point, I was still very heavily interested in learning more about the story and genuinely wanted to follow what was going on. But the early signs of what was to come started to rear their ugly head. But I'll get more into that later on. We crash into Pinnaconny, literally, get hit by a car.
I'm walking here.
We meet a cute little button called Firefly and the local law enforcement that moonlights as a bartender. As there's a bartender, it doesn't matter. We follow Firefly around while getting ice cream and looking at the beautiful view, but at an hour and a half into Penacony without a single fight or puzzle, I was starting to wonder. There's all this talking, I really want to get to the game, you know? I was so desperate to do something, I was happy just doing a random puzzle. Okay, at least there's something to do. Seriously, where are the battles? I would like to get to the part where I fight shit, you know? It got so bad I was actually tempted to quit stream there and then. And then at roughly 1 hour and 50 minutes, I got into my first battle. Finally, a battle. Oh my god, how long has it been since I had a battle? Oh, Jesus Christ. And it was with a freaking trash can. But whatever, I don't care. I could have had a battle with a physical manifestation of watching paint dry, but it would have been something. Now, I need you guys to understand. I've been leaving the side quest for later, so I was getting the pure, undiluted main story quest experience right here. This is the quest that is supposed to be the perfect blend of story, lore, and gameplay that the devs have cooked up for us to enjoy. I wasn't enjoying it. In the end, I just resigned myself to accepting that I was going to be stuck there for a long time while these people kept on yapping. And even though I was still hanging on to dear life, trying to stay interested in what there was being said, I could feel myself zoning out. And just as I was about to completely lose hope, Penacony started becoming interesting. Okay. Right, I'm guessing this is where the story gets good. At least I'm hoping. Finally, I really enjoyed this area of Penacony, infinitely more so than the introduction. The story was much better with better pacing and gameplay included into the story itself. Running around the creepy, reality warping dreamscape with plenty of mobs to fight along the way, whilst also trying to find out where that cute little button Firefly had gone to. A Firefly, no! If I was going to nitpick, I think they could have made the puzzles a little bit harder, but still, I don't really mind. Don't even have to think. Again, easy J's for my Acheron pulls. But like I said, I was much more invested in this part of the story. I enjoyed the battle with Sam, the Robin death reveal, and the mystery behind that too, though it wasn't really hard to guess who the culprit was. Wait, does that mean that Sparkle killed her? I know I've seen that on the design for Gallagher. Like, he has like a purple thing. When he gets the purple, like, Wolverine claws. And it was after this point that things really took a nosedive for me. Because the 2.1 main quest doesn't take place in Penacony. Oh, no. It takes place in Yapland. Now again, all I was doing was playing the main story quest. The quest which is supposed to best encapsulate what this game is supposed to be. Do you know how long it took to get from the beginning of 2.1 to the first turn-based battle in this turn-based action RPG? I look back at my VOD to see. An hour and 6 minutes. It took longer than an average HBO TV episode to get to anything that wasn't pure yap. A lot of the time was spent looking at a static image or nothing but a blank screen. If Hoyo can't be bothered to put in the effort, why should I? I'm so glad I bought that new pillow. Best 500 yen I've ever spent, because the yap fest was seriously doing a number on my cross-legged floor-sitting ass. Then after that, we can finally get to an area where we can run around, fighting mobs, doing puzzles for about 30 minutes or so. But it wasn't long before we went back to have another hour and 10 minutes walking around talking to random NPCs. And 2 whole battles which didn't take longer than 8 minutes for me to clear. Doing a bit of quick math, that's just about 90% of the time doing nothing but story dialogue. And if it took 8 minutes for my underleveled ass to beat, I can only imagine how quickly you day 1 players cleared it. The only thing keeping me interested was Black Swan's huge personality. It didn't start off bad though. There was a decent mix of puzzles and battles. But this time though, even though I was happy with having things to do, I wasn't remotely interested or invested in anything that I was doing. And not for lack of trying. I was legitimately reading and following along. I swear I wasn't being a Skippy McGee, but it was so tear-inducingly boring that I was fighting for my life trying to stay awake. And at 40 minutes, it came to a boiling point where I just had to vent. Being forced to sit here and get through all of this fucking dialogue, just fucking come on, I want to play the game. Jesus Christ. I'm actually getting angry. Shut up. I want to do shit, you know? It's taken me 40 minutes just to do a simple fucking puzzle. This is not right. This is not normal. An hour of story about a character that I couldn't care less about. No, literally, no, seriously. It's literally, at the moment, I'm 2 hours, 21 minutes. So fucking bored. Now, am I against that entirely? No. If this was a character story, then I get it. If this was a character story, I get it. Makes all the sense in the world. But it's not. This is the main quest storyline, supposedly. They have these kinds of quests in Genshin as well, but those are like hangout quests. But the hangout quests, I get why there's not like many battles in there, because it's a hangout quest, so you're supposed to be supposed to hang out with the character. This is the main story quest. I'm not even gonna line it up straight. Screw you. But above all, I was confused. Why was my experience so different from what I've heard? Was it because I was playing the main story quest in a kind of self-imposed, focused experience mode and taking everything in one huge marathon? How about if I just did 30 minutes each time? No, but I know you say that just do 30 minutes, but it's like, why should I have to? Why isn't this game fun? If the game's not fun, what's the point of the game? Like, I'm doing the main quest story. Why is the main quest story not fun? Now, you're probably thinking, oh, this guy just hates anything that isn't pure action. He probably has some kind of TikTok ADHD brain rot. Well, maybe turn-based RPGs just aren't for you. First of all, I've never been on TikTok. But second, as I mentioned before with the Cocolia fight, Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite game of all time, followed closely by Final Fantasy X. I've grown up playing story-focused, turn-based RPGs, so I'm no stranger to this genre. The difference is that those games blend story and gameplay in an interesting and enjoyable balance, with the lore firmly established as a backdrop to those that want to look for it. And the moment you start to feel things are slowing down with the story, they bring the action back in to keep things fresh and interesting. In those games, traveling from location to location incorporated gameplay with random encounters. Did it get annoying sometimes? Absolutely, not denying that. But there were mechanics in-game to alleviate that. In fact, the new refreshers of these games addressed it by making the random encounters toggleable so you can do it right from the start. But HSR suffers from the same bloated, insufferable dialogue just as much as its cousin Genshin does. The thing that Honkai Star Rail has over Genshin is its plethora of events and endgame modes. And not time-gated events either. A lot of the old fun and varied events are still available to play whenever you have the time. From side-scrolling obstacle courses to Pokemon-like battle modes. I'll admit the museum event kinda dragged, but it mixed in story, puzzles, and battles throughout, so I gave it a pass. Also, Simulated Universe and Pure Fiction were fantastic to play, and the rewards for all of these events are still up there for grabs too. All in all, I had the most fun in this game when I was actually playing the game. Earlier I said, this game fucking sucks, and I want to run that back a little as I was incredibly frustrated at the time when I said that. This game doesn't suck, it's fine. The actual gameplay itself is actually quite fun. The main problem I have is, they cannot tell a good story. But what I mean by that is, it doesn't matter if they have a good story. Like, say Adventure Story's fine, no, it's fine, but the way that they present it, even if the story's good, if it's long and drawn out and just bloated, it ruins the pacing. It like makes you less interested to know what's going on. It's like, okay, I'm just having my time wasted right now. It doesn't matter if you have a good story, if you can't tell a good story. That's what I wanted to say. It's true for Genshin, and in my opinion, it's just as true for Honkai Star Rail too. This is supposed to be a battling game. This is supposed to be a turn-based, turn-based RPG battle game. The longer they make it, the less interested I become. And I didn't care in the slightest about these characters. I was surprised but didn't care much about Robin, and I had literally zero reaction to Sunday's death. So it was Gallagher. No, I didn't react. I don't really care. Oh no! Sunday, who I couldn't care less about in the first place. The only person I gave a damn about was Firefly, because she's the only one we spent any significant amount of time with. Okay, I kinda lied a bit. I spent a day doing side missions to give myself a much needed break. And I'm so glad I did too, because I got so much more invested in some of the side missions characters. Like Banjia. I really enjoyed giving her asshole of a boyfriend a good smack upside the head. Oh, this guy's a prick. Yeah, do we have to heal this guy? Wait, can I beat him up? Yeah, let me beat him up first. Yeah, f this guy. Or Kakuna's story, for example, about her parents that trampled all over her dreams and her attempt to escape with her lover boyfriend, who most likely was killed for making a wrong bet. Those were so much more interesting to me compared to anything that happened in the main story. Except Firefly's death, like I said. Everything leading up to the climax felt like a mind-numbing yapfest chore to get through. I'm going nuts, guys. I'm literally going nuts. But the climax? That was good. Good. Ow! Stupidly unlucky. Easy! I got it again! This is fun. This is fun. Same for the after credits too. Oh shit, Sam's here. He's such a badass. I bet under that armor he's got like a Giga Chad physique and a huge Firefly! Firefly? So I also want to retract what I said about them not being able to tell a good story too. It's clear to me that they can tell a good story, but they really dropped the ball with most of the Penacony main quest. In my opinion anyway. And to make it perfectly clear, I'm not throwing shade at anyone who enjoyed it. If you liked it, I'm genuinely happy for you. But for me, it was a swing, a miss, lost control of the bat, and now I have a hole in my window. I'm so glad I finished it. I managed to get the characters I wanted, even though my pulls were triple F rated cursed. I missed every single 50-50. I got the only character I didn't want, Bailu's Lightcone, and Yanqing. Yeah, this game hates me just as much as I hate 2.1's main story quest. So at least the feeling is mutual. But whatever, now I can finally put this game aside and save myself the headache.